Alrighty, I'll hand it off to Maddie from the Street Trust to get us going.
Oh,
Thanks,
cool.
everybody.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Thanks for being here, by the way, everyone. Can you all see my screen okay? Cool. Before I start, I'm going to read a quick land acknowledgement. We want to acknowledge the land we are occupying. The Portland metro area rests on traditional village sites of the Multnomah, Wasco, Cowlitz, Cathlamet, Clackamas, bands of Chinook, Tualatin, Kalapuya, Malala, and many other tribes who made their homes along the Columbia River. We take this opportunity to thank the original caretakers of this land. Thank you. Today, I'm going to tell you about all about the Move More Challenge, about the new platform, about all the events this year, how to build and motivate your team, and finally source your ideas and best practices, and then answer any questions. I am Maddie, Maddie Carlson. My pronouns are she, her, hers. I'm the Move More Challenge coordinator at the Street Trust. I live in Southeast Portland and I bike just about every day since it is my primary means of transportation. The Street Trust is a membership advocacy organization that represents street users from across the Portland metro area. We advocate to break the political gridlock to address unsafe and incomplete public streets that threaten lives and livelihoods, and to win policy and investments that save lives, reduce barriers, and expand opportunities to the people in neighborhoods our current system neglects. Since 1990, the Street Trust has worked in partnership with citizens, businesses, community groups, government agencies, and elected officials to create communities where people can meet their daily transportation needs through active transportation. I'm going to turn off my screen sharing so I can see bigger versions of you. And if people want to go around and introduce themselves, either talking or typing into the chat, name, home, neighborhood, and how often you bike or walk or roller skate or e-scoot or use transit would be awesome. Okay. Do you want to start, Caitlin?
My name is Naveed Pandukwala. I work at Intel Corporation. I used to bike every single day, rain or shine, but honestly, it's been a challenge to get myself motivated on those rainy days lately. But I try to get out a few days a week, at least, not as much for commute, but you know, everything else, groceries, whatever it might be. And some, you know, pleasure rides. And I've been doing that for probably about 12, 13 years straight now. Is that what you needed?
Yeah, awesome.
Okay.
All right, I'll go. I'm Caitlin Ahern. I'm the program manager for WTA. I will be talking a little bit later about our prizes, but so we work with Washington County. And I actually live in, where do I live now? Northeast Portland. I also used to live in Southeast Portland. And I don't have a car, so I try and, you know, bike when I can or take transit or walk. I like walking. Sometimes I borrow my roommate's car, I'll admit, but yeah, I love having, you know, not having a car. And so that's my jam. That's who I am.
Cool.
Hi, I'm Josh. I work for Vernier Software and Technology. We're in Beaverton. That's where I live. I used to be taking the bus, the 57 to Vernier every day. These days I roll out of bed and here I am. So most of my, I do a lot of bike riding, but these days it's just for fun. I've got some kids and we like to ride around the neighborhoods too. And we're real close to the Tualatin Hills Nature Park here, and so we walk there too. Yeah, happy to be here.
Hi, Michael O'Brien, work at Kaiser Permanente right by REI and on the west side, and I commute mostly by bike in the good weather, which some years includes January, February, you know, nice days. But usually more like June, July, August, September, or I have to cut back because of the rain. I do a lot of recreational biking as well. I have a group I ride with Wednesday nights and Saturdays for fun. And I have about a 14-mile commute, so it's a little hard to stay motivated to do that round trip over and over. It's just a little too far for me at my age, but I really like biking. I even had my wife's cruiser out over the weekend because I was doing some work on mine. I had to ride something, so that was kind of fun to ride around on. Got a lot of compliments from little kids. But that's it.
My name's Robin Strawn. I manage the sustainability program at Washington County. So my office is in Hillsborough and I live in Beaverton. In the before times, biking and Max were my primary ways to get to and from work. Now that I go in the office about a couple times a month, I've been e-biking because of having to schlep my computer back and forth. So I did that today. And then just the ways I stay active now that I mostly work at home are a lot of neighborhood walks, hiking, neighborhood bike rides, and weekend bike rides. And then I do a lot of online classes like workout classes, Zoom and yoga and that kind of stuff.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Jeff. I'm the executive director with the West Side Transportation Alliance. I work with Caitlin. As Robin said, in the before times, I mostly I did a lot of transit, Max bus combos for commute trips. And since we've been teleworking, I bicycled just about every day, and then a lot of walking.
I think we might have one more on the phone, or has everyone gone? Or has everyone who wants?
Everybody.
I think that's my phone.
Oh, okay. I thought it might be a double one. Cool. Yeah, I myself used to bike so much every single day to commute to work and to escort my kids to 2 different schools, and that's all disappeared. So I know how it is. I've actually been going to the West Side a lot lately though, because every weekend I bike over to a friend's house who lives near Multnomah Village to go for a walk. And we've started also going for a bike ride. So I just saw that Tualatin Nature Park last week. It's amazing. We did the whole Fano Creek Trail. So I like getting to see Washington County a lot more than I have, because it used to just be once a year while I was biking to the coast for an annual trip. So lovely out there. It's so nice. Let me share my screen again and we'll get back to the presentation. Okay, let me know if you can't see the screen.
Good.
Okay. Oh, so I guess I shouldn't have screen shared again. I'm gonna see if I can make the pictures bigger, but I would like a show of hands to see who participated in the Bike More Challenge last year, 2020, which I know was an odd year. Cool, more than I thought, because yeah, we lost a lot of participants. How about 2019? I thought I'd have no hands for 2020 and all the hands for 2019. Wonderful, thank you so much. And how many of you were team captains last year or the year before? Cool. So the Bike More Challenge this year for the first time has become the Move More Challenge. So now you can earn points for more than just biking. First time ever. You can walk, you can e-scoot, you can skateboard, you can roller skate, you can one wheel. If you ask me if you can do something, odds are yes, although we'll have to decide what category you log it as. You can ride the Max, ride the bus, all of that also counts. Also for the first time, it is not only 1 month, it's going to be all summer long from June 1st through August 31st. So it's just like the Pedalpalooza Bike Festival, which hopefully you've heard of. That's a fun way to find bike rides to join. There are also some skate rides and I think probably also skateboard rides in it. I don't know if there's anything transit and walking related though. So the Move More Challenge is more important than ever this year. The challenge encourages people to replace thousands of their miles of car trips each year. 2 years ago, our last normal year, there were over 12,000 people participating when it was called the Bike More Challenge all across the state of Oregon, including a lot of new bike riders. We always like to recruit new bike riders, and this year, new walkers and new transit riders to the challenge. So obviously the pandemic changed everything. Lots of people lost their commutes, and a lot of us changed our recreation habits, feeling safer inside our homes than out. Before it was so nice outside, was also only doing online videos to get active. So now as society reopens, we can choose to move more using sustainable means, and we're hoping that the challenge will encourage people to do just that. So the goals of the Move More Challenge include, we want to get more people moving without cars more often. We want to encourage new challenge participants to start walking, rolling, and riding transit in a fun, friendly environment. We want people and organizations to use the Move More Challenge as a tool to get more people moving in their own communities. And we want to get more people moving sustainably in order to be happier and healthier and create more livable communities. It improves our air quality, more people bicycling and walking and using transit creates more of a political voice for cycling and walking and improving the infrastructure for that. More people biking, specifically goes for bike infrastructure, and we can log all of these trips and collect the data on that, which is so important for our advocacy work. Furthermore, when you log your trips, while we're collecting that data, we use it to justify funding for improved infrastructure. And team captains, which I bet you already know, are so essential to the Move More Challenge, and we want to thank you for making all of this possible. So again, we changed platforms this year. The Get There platform by Ride Amigos is different, but it is so exciting, and I'm really excited that we'll be using this, and we are going to use this for time forward now. So Alta Planning helped build this by working with the Oregon Department of Transportation, and when they were transitioning their ride matching platform, which was called Drive Less Connect. They had 30,000 users in there, over 9 regional partners across Oregon. And they moved them over to the ride matching platform called Ride Amigos, and they branded it Get There. So their partners include the West Side Transportation Alliance, Go Lloyd, and a lot of other agencies all around the Portland metro area and state. So by plugging into this, we're joining all these existing groups. So I know a lot of you already had Get There accounts, which is really cool. So you're a little bit familiar with the tool, or a lot of it familiar with the tool, and we get to kind of move that over to this challenge too. So things that Get There and Ride Amigos allow is logging more trips by different modes: bike, walk, scoot, skate, and transit. You'll notice that there's also options for carpooling. However, those are not part of this particular challenge, but it's really cool that it was originally built for finding carpools, and that's functionality, carpooling and bike pooling that we might plug in the future. The number of trips logged can go towards incentives for a trip number, or you can earn points to do point-driven prizes. So it's really nice that we have both of those options for the first time easily. And there's also easy Strava integration, as well as a bunch of other health apps if you happen to already be tracking your rides. I'm going to show you a bunch of screenshots. Oh, I'm sorry, did you have a question?
Yeah, quick question. Is this an app or is this a website that you go to, or?
I've been using the website. There is an app, but the app is very commute based. So you can view your stuff on the app, but I don't have screenshots of the app right now, but they have an app called Commute Tracker.
Oh yeah, I actually prefer the website. I don't like.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so.
The nice thing is they're really responsive to any help tickets. So I think we could start, like, you could even make suggestions if you saw something in the app you didn't like and you think would be easy to add, that I could open a help ticket for, and they'd probably address. So yeah, I took all my app screenshots out because I don't find it very useful, but I do think that in the future it really could be.
Yeah, gotcha.
So yeah, so I'm going to show screenshots from the website and the sign up process. And everything that I'm going to show you is reiterated on the Move More Challenge FAQ, which is easy to find on the Street Trust's website. Also, I just updated the screenshots, so they're not current because now our logo in the left-hand corner actually is our logo and a little Move More Challenge FAQ. So that logo doesn't take you to our homepage anymore. It takes you straight to the frequently asked questions. And if you have a question that's not on there, email me and I'll answer it and add it to the FAQ so we can grow that together. Our FAQ also has a link to the Ride Amigos basic user help support portal if you want to read more documentation about the tool overall. But yeah, I find that the team captains are helping me really bang on the website and figure out things that we should write about in our documentation and also get fixed. So you can find your way to this page, the Move More Challenge registration page, via the Street Trust website right on the front page. It's also linked to from our Move More Challenge page under events, and it's easy to find, I think, from pretty much every single page on our website and all the emails that we send out. If you're a pre-existing Get There user, you can just go directly to our network page. So you won't find the challenge from your existing Get There until you join the Street Trust network page. And that is linked to at the top of our Move More Challenge FAQ and in everything that we're emailing out. Or if you have any team members who are having trouble seeing the Move More Challenge in their challenges section, it might be that they didn't do this step, even if they're not pre-existing users. So a good troubleshooting method is to send them the link to the Street Trust's network and make sure that they're in there. Or you can email me. I'm happy to look people up in the network and add anyone to the network that's, well, if they're not in our network, I can't add them, but I can see that they're not there and then send you this link and say, yes, they're definitely not there. This is what's missing. So the next step is fill in your name, email, and choose a password. And then choosing a network is a little confusing because a network is not the same as a team, but for a lot of people, they've got the same name. So generally speaking, a network is your employer, but it could also be any other organization or school or a different interest group. If in the pull down you don't see the network that you think you belong in, you can either skip that step and not add essentially a sub-network, or you can ask me to add anything. Just email movemore@thestreettrust.org and that comes straight to me. And even if right now you can paste into the chat if you suspect the network you want to join isn't going to be listed, and I'll check and add it if it's not. So the only network that you need to be in so that you can get to our challenge is the one called the Street Trust Move More Challenge that's in the second box there. So don't click that little X and remove that, or then you'll end up not in the area where I can see you.
Can somebody be in more than one network?
Yeah, for that, since you can't do that from this page, since you're just joining one at a time, you would go to that URL that takes you directly to the network. So if you have trouble finding that, I can get that link and send it to you also. And if you want to be a network admin, if there's a sub network you want to create, I can make you an admin, and then you can see more stuff. Also, if you can think of any new non-traditional types of networks and encourage friends to join those who maybe don't have a workplace that they would want to participate with, or don't have a workplace that would be in here, something like book clubs or skateboarders or freelancers who ride the Max for fun, give me those ideas and I'll plug those in too, because we really want to encourage different affinity groups, if you will, to participate too. So the next step is you will get a confirmation link. If you don't see it, go check your spam folder. I find a lot of these are ending up in the Gmail's promotions folder instead of somewhere easy to find. This is what that email looks like. So then you click on the email, confirm your account, and you are in. Well, next you have to log in one more time. And the login here is at the top menu bar, and just sign in with that password you chose. So my trips, it's going to prompt you to fill this in until you do so or click don't show this again. This is part of Get There's robust carpooling functionality. So I skipped this step, but you can plug in a favorite trip. I figure in the future, we're probably going to use more of the features of Get There, but that particular thing is not useful right now for just logging our trips. Okay, so you've registered and you've joined a network. You still need to go to the challenge page at this point and create or join a team. So the network is like an administrative reporting thing and an ongoing group you're in. And then the challenge is a seasonal thing where the teams live under. So your network will always stay the same unless you want to change it or add other networks. But the challenges come and go throughout the year. So to get to the challenge, you click the programs button in the top menu, and then you click the go button under challenges. The Move More challenge should show up right as soon as you get to the challenges page under active. But if you don't see it there, click on the available button next to active. And then if you still don't see it in either of those places, that is a sign that you probably are not in the Street Trust Move More Challenge network, and you need to click that network page that I showed 10 slides ago that you find at the top of our FAQ. If also one other thing, if you happen to qualify for multiple challenges, your zip code might make you eligible for more than one challenge. You might not notice the Move More challenge right away because it's not your first challenge. I did not notice this admittedly big blue arrow on the very right side of the screen and thought I was not doing something right. But yes, if you have to scroll through challenges, there's a huge blue arrow, but it's so far to the right, you also may have not seen it. So that's how you find the Move More challenge if it's not your first challenge showing up. So you've registered, you found your challenge, and now you're ready to create your team. So there's a green Create a Team button that is in the pane of the Move More challenge. You're going to click that, and you can give any name and description to your team. Then create it. And there's a blue Copy Team URL button that you can email out to your teammates. So one thing about Ride Amigos is you need to know who's going to be on your team by email address ahead of time, because this pane here that will list your team in the box doesn't give any contact information. People can come sign in and join your team, find you in the Join a Team screen, but you are going to need to know how to communicate with them to give them information for joining the challenge and joining the team, which I'd imagine you already have. So
sorry, I have a quick question. That one. So I'm a new team captain. How do I get the PDL or whatever list for whoever whatever the list was previously for Intel employees, let's say?
Oh,
or
I might be able to have someone find that for me in our Salesforce system. I'll see if I can find it. But you might also have luck going through Intel to find it, but I'll get back to you about that.
I would also suggest if you are able to get in touch with last year's captain or previous year captain. I also don't have all the emails. I was communicating through captain, so unfortunately I can't help you there.
Okay, I'll have to find out who it was. We generally am a light email keeper, so we delete everything.
I do have the name of your last year's captain, so I can give you that. I just don't have the team.
Okay.
Oh, good. Also, going back 2 years might be a good idea too, considering how different last year was. But I'll look and see what I can find as well. So even though you've got this join the team link, your teammates will still need to register first before they paste in that link to join your team. So here's what the screen after they've registered will look like for them. And again, they can search out your team by clicking the Join a Team button that was next to that Create a Team button that you clicked. So now, after you've got your team and you go back to Programs and Challenges, you'll see a View Team button. Since anyone can click to join any team, if someone joins your team who isn't part of your organization, you can simply remove them from your team. Get There, as I said, doesn't have the functionality to communicate with them via the platform. So if you aren't sure if someone should be on your team or not, and you want to get in touch with them, or have me email them, you can just email me at movemore@thestreettrust.org. And I'll either give you their information or email them directly to make sure that they are on the right team. because you'll only see first names here, and I can provide a last name or an email address. And you can make your description of your team very descriptive and add your contact information to that if you want people to reach out to you while they're joining the team. So logging your trips is the other half of the process. To log a trip, you're going to click to the dashboard, which is in the top menu bar of any page in the Get There interface, and then scroll down to the part of the page that is Log Your Trips. Right now, a carpooling box shows up above the Logging the Trips that I'm hoping Ride Amigos will either swap positions with or remove altogether. But for now, this is what we have. The eligible modes for this challenge are bicycle, transit, walk, electric or kick scooter, and skate. You can choose if you want to plug in a one-way trip or a round trip. And you can add trips multiple days at once if you've done the same amount of miles at about the same time of day. When you click on something to highlight it blue, that means that is the day or days you're adding a trip to. Did you have a question, Robin?
Yeah, I was wondering why train isn't eligible for this. I have a lot of transit riders who ride the Max or Wes, and they've been logging their trips as train, and I'm just wondering if I need to get them to switch it to transit.
That is just because I assumed train was like Amtrak. But you know what, let me check if I can make that change after I've already launched the challenge, and I will, because yeah, it's fun to log that as train, not just transit. So I'll get back to you on that. They might need to make a change because some of the stuff, once you've set it, you can't change it once you've launched. Let me make myself a note and double check.
Yeah, I have people who've ridden the Max train a lot, but they're just not showing up in my leaderboard. So I just wanted to figure out if I needed to get them to change it.
Okay.
And I think they can go into their history and change it.
I think that'll be good for me to see too, if you can change your mode or if you have to put the whole trip in again. That I'm not sure offhand.
Okay.
Hopefully, odds are I can change that. There are just a couple things that are set in stone once you've declared them when you're setting up a challenge.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. So now, once you've already got some trips logged, and you can all backlog to June 1st if you haven't been in Get There, since our challenge technically started on June 1st. We're just kind of off to a slow rolling start as we get all the kinks out of the tool and get all the teams built up. So once you've logged some, you'll notice.
Sorry, Maddie. What I've had trouble with is just logging a recreational trip, like not a round trip or out and return, because it always seems to want to do like a commute. So I always end up having to go back and delete the second trip. So I just have one ride. So I've been trying to figure that out.
So, well, there is a one-way or a round trip option. So if I have a recreational trip, I just call it one way, and then it logs it as one trip. Even though I'm coming back home and it's a loop, I'm still logging it as a one-way trip. Does that make sense?
Yeah, can you show? Yeah, if you can show me how to do that, because somehow I'm not able to figure that out.
Okay, and let me look at my
There's a little tiny little word section that says no return trip that you have to click on. It's not super intuitive.
Oh yeah, and I guess the screen is covering it up.
Yeah, I see it now. That is small. I usually use it on my phone too, so that's like.
Oh, are you logging with your phone successfully? Oh, that's great. I haven't bothered trying that.
Yeah, I was trying, and then I was just looking at it on my screen here. I thought, well, this is a little easier to see, but I didn't see the no return trip, so that's very helpful.
It might not even show up on the phone version, but I use it on my computer. But yeah, that's what we've been telling people who are doing like loops or like out and backs that aren't to an address for like walks or bike rides. So we just tell them to track their miles separately and type the miles in individually.
Yeah, that's really helpful. Thanks.
And these are the kind of things that I can open help tickets to see if they won't right away, if it's on like a list of things to make that bigger, because they're also expanding to make the tool less commute based overall. So, at first it only tracked from your favorite trip from home to your work address and nothing else. But now that's so much more versatile. but the design hasn't quite caught up to that. So we can make these kind of suggestions. And if they don't go in for this challenge, they'll probably go in at some point, or at least become a feature that we could turn on in the future. So let me go back to the next slide. So now you'll see blue and green dots when you've got a couple trip logs. Blue is the current date that you're on, or it's the days that you've just clicked on that you're adding that are going to receive a trip that you plug in. And green are the days that already have trips logged to them. And they've got dots, little tiny white dots to indicate how many trips are logged to them each already. And if you forget what's what, and you end up logging trips on the wrong day because you forgot if you should log on green or blue, like I keep doing, it's easy to edit. So you'll notice that there's a little blue history button above the calendar, and you would click on that. So here's the edit trips. I've clicked onto the blue history button. So now it's toggled to become a log trips button to get me back to where I was before. And this is where you're going to edit or delete any trips. The trips that you've manually entered, you can edit. You see a little edit button and a delete button next to each trip. I've been syncing my trips from Strava. Those ones you can't edit. You need to delete them if there's something wrong with one, and then re-enter it manually if they need any editing.
Andy, I'm not sure if it's just me. I think I'm a slide behind. I don't see the blue and the green, if that's.
Oh, in the calendar, do you see edit trips at the top of the slide that's showing up?
Log your trips. Am I the only one?
No, I think I don't know if it's frozen or if we're seeing a different screen.
Okay, so I see one that says edit trips at the top.
I'm still on dashboard. There it is.
Oh,
Edit
here it
trips.
is.
Oh, okay. I alt tabbed. Maybe that forced it through. Okay, so I'll leave this up for a second so you can see what it looks like when you've got. So now you can see the edit button and the delete button for the trips that I manually entered. And you can see the Strava trip only has a delete option.
Hey, Maddie, I have a question about Strava syncing.
Mm-hmm.
So I just did my first 2 trips by bike today that I recorded by Strava, and both trips recorded on my phone, but only one got synced on my calendar. Does it take a certain amount of time for them to sync, or?
So it's not supposed to. They're supposed to show up within 10 to 15 minutes. However, my Strava right now is being really weird, but apparently most users are not. I've got an open help ticket, and they're figuring out what it is. So I think there's something affecting all users, and some of us are really, really affected. At one point, they suggested I disconnect and reconnect it, and that did force one of mine to show up. But that's not the only problem. So if you want to try some troubleshooting on your own, you can disconnect your Strava and then reconnect your Strava and see if that helps. But there is some back-end stuff going on. And I don't know.
I didn't want to manually enter it and then have it come through, and then I have like too many rides or something. That I had that with the old platform too. Loved to ride. Sometimes it wouldn't sync right away, and I would enter it so I wouldn't forget it, and then I would have like 4 rides instead of 2.
Yeah, so I'm trying to be patient too, and I'm just going to like look at my Strava and look at this if for some reason they don't go in. But I think once they get it fixed, they're going to like manually like flush everything through.
Cool.
And yeah, it's new for them that they're accepting non-commute trips from Strava. I don't know if that's what the bug is about, but it was working perfectly for a short period, so I know it will be again.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, that's the trouble I've had is if I'm commuting, it seems to recognize the Strava trip. But if I'm doing something recreation that's not from the expected location, then I don't know, it just doesn't go through.
Yeah, they will though, and they had been. So it's annoying right now, but don't worry, it will get remedied. And all those trips that you've already taken should show up just fine. So here is how you're going to sync your Strava, which you in turn can connect to any other trip recording apps. So click on your name where it says, hi, your name in the upper right corner, and then a menu appears and you click edit profile. Then you're gonna Scroll up, probably. The page seems to remember where you were last, so mine keeps launching the bottom of the web page, and I have to scroll all the way to the top to see the left menu bar and click on connected apps in that left column. And then you're going to scroll back down. Now, that is probably why it keeps taking me to the top, because I keep scrolling down to the Strava part, and scroll down to the Strava section and click connect with Strava. So that will launch the strava.com webpage where you're prompted to log in. And then just click to authorize Get There to connect to your Strava. And you can opt if it wants your private Strava recordings to count as trips. It's not going to display any of that data. So I've got mine clicked, but you don't need to, but then those trips won't count. And make sure that you go to the allow these types of Strava trips pull down, and the default is probably still set to commute trips only. But now, as of a few weeks ago, you can change that to all trips and then click the Update Strava Options button. So for me, it took a day or two for them to start showing up, but I don't know if that's normal. And they said like trips should usually only take 10 to 15 minutes to show up. And here is a list of all the other services that will sync into your Get There. Some of the services and devices sync directly with Strava, and some you need an additional connective app like Taparic or Fitness Sync. I haven't used either of those, so I don't know how they work, but I'd imagine they're pretty straightforward. So all of those things can sync in to your Get There via Strava. So that is it for the tool. The rewards in Get There are under the program menu. So there are, as soon as I plug them in, I have not plugged in any of the rewards yet. I'll probably plug it in before I have everything lined up. So the Street Trust provided rewards will be coming soon. You'll get incentives for logging just 5 trips, incentives for logging 10 trips, and then those points you accumulate, which right now are 1 point for each ride, but we're going to be doing some promotions for double points for certain things. Those you'll be able to trade for prizes and trade for raffle entries. We're going to do weekly photo contests, which I'll probably send out in a couple days, getting those going every week, which probably won't be through the Get There interface. Those will just be through emails. And then there's also an events tab at the top of the Get There menu next to dashboard, and there you will find listings for our commute clinics, and I'm going to do another team captain training next week. You'll find that up there, and any Pedalpalooza rides hosted by the Street Trust will be there. We've got an upcoming event coming Thursday, July 1st from 3 to 5 at Gateway Discovery Park that as soon as this meeting is done, I'm going to plug into there. The awards party is TBA, but now that things in person can happen, it will happen this year at the end of the challenge. And if you have any events that you think would be good to add there, send them in and I will plug them in to Get There so they show up under events. For recruiting your team, I'm going to add to our website a PDF poster that you can print out or you can use as an e-poster to distribute. It seems like people are going into offices sometimes. I'm going in once a week on Tuesdays, so I get 2 bike commutes a week right now, or more often if I want to use the printer. So it seems like print posters are becoming a thing again, and at some point we're going to do a run of posters and mail them out. But for now we've got e-posters. So that'll be on the website soon. You can add a blurb to this, and you should, if you've got a newsletter at work, an e-newsletter, so it reaches everyone everywhere, you should put in a blurb about the Move More Challenge and about being a team captain. Or if you've got a mail serve or a Slack or a Facebook group for work, put out the word there. You could leave notes on parked bikes if you've got a bike room at work or on racks nearby. You should post flyers at the closest bus stops if there are people taking transit to work. And also keep recruiting. Start building your team right now, but continue adding to it all summer long. In terms of motivating your team, help them get registered. As you can see, it is a multi-step process to get Get There. as the years go on and we all stay and get there because it's so cool, it'll be easy to add a challenge here when everyone is in or when people are more familiar with it and we get it changed to match our needs even better. But for right now, it is a little bit clunky to get in there, and it is a multi-step process. So
Maddie, would you send out some simple instructions? I clunked my way through it, but I couldn't recreate it even 5 minutes later. So if you don't mind sending some.
Yeah, we've got them right on the FAQ, and I'll streamline them and send them out in an email to you. Yeah.
You can also send more information too, and you can also ask me questions if you want.
Yeah,
Great.
and I think I'll take maybe not every single one of the 40 screenshots I've got, but make a PDF of those too and post it to send out, which I'll do today. So you'll have that so people can see what it looks like. So yeah, and if there are problems that you try to troubleshoot and you try through the FAQ and it doesn't remedy everything, email me at movemore@thestreettrust.org. I really like getting to talk to all the team captains over email, and all the troubleshooting that I get to do makes me more familiar with the tool and helps add questions to the FAQ, and I refine how I speak about Get There, and it just helps us all. Then also in terms of motivating your team, create a communications plan. If you send them periodic reminders to log their trips is always a good thing. Keep an eye on the Street Trust newsletter during the summer and include the Move More Challenge related information that we send out in our messaging to your team. And again, since their email addresses and last names even are not visible and Get There, if you need anyone's contact information, ask me and I'll send it over. Another great thing to do with your team is help them with route finding so they are more readily able to get out and get around using means that might not be their regular way of getting around. With so many people replacing work commutes with errand runs and recreational outings, there's probably a lot of new route finding to be done. You can pass along tons of tools and encouragement, spend some time researching good routes because the best routes for biking on are probably not the streets you've been driving on. I'm gonna paste in the Portland bike walk maps into the chat if I can find my way back over to the chat. Hopefully this doesn't make the slide go away again. Oh, you know what? I think I need to stop sharing to, where is it? I think I'd be better at this by now. There we go. Okay, so I really like the PBOT's Portland Bike and Walk maps. So there are free paper maps that you can order through that link. There's a mobile-friendly interactive map. There are whole city and regional printable PDF maps in English and Spanish and Somali, Nepali, Russian, Burmese, and Arabic. I really like using just Google Maps. It works really, really well for the Portland metro area. I like to toggle between Google Street View and just Map View to see what the intersections look like when I'm choosing my route, to see if there are stoplights or how many lanes there are. And then also the tools people are using for recreation are helpful for route finding. I like to look at the Strava global heat map and see where people are riding. I can tell if it's a busy street that maybe I don't want to be on, but a lot of times I find nice quiet streets that way. And yeah, look in the chat again where Caitlin has given some more information about route finding. That's great. I also use Map My.
We can book a chat. You can book a chat with us or request resources from us from that.
That is so cool. I've also used Map My Ride, and I really like using routes and rides people have saved on Ride with GPS, which is a local company. Another thing you can do, if you can gather 10 interested people, sign up for the Street Trust to hold a bike commute clinic or a legal clinic virtually. We usually run those at noon and they take an hour, but we can do them any time of day. If you can think of some other type of clinic you would like us to offer, let us know and we will do that too. And it doesn't have to be a whole hour long. We can do a quick 15-minute just route finding Well, I don't want to take business away from Caitlin, but anything other than that.
It's free, it's not business.
I was
Ask
joking.
whoever you want to ask.
But yeah, I'd love to get some different kinds of seminars going too that might make more sense. And everything's really easy to do virtually these days. Another thing you can do is facilitate a buddy system where you match a veteran rider on your team with a newer rider. I love actually riding with people and showing them places to go if it's a part of town I'm familiar with. And this would also work with transit trips and multimodal bike plus max trips. Keep your team safe. We recommend that everyone has a front and a back light, a sturdy lock, and a helmet. Your team, knowing that you care about their safety, will make them want to ride more. And if you can, organize small events to motivate your people to ride to them and celebrate those who are riding. Also walking in transit. Bike riding, I think of as like a fun thing to do as a group, but walking is too, and so is transit riding. You can also join an event that's already happening as a team. Have any of you done any Pedalpalooza rides yet this year? It's a big crowdsourced bike festival. You could even post a ride to Pedalpalooza. I went on the kickoff ride on June 1st and there were 500 people there. It was a little overwhelming, but it was so fun. I'm leading my first Pedalpalooza ride this year on Monday, where we are going to bike to the PSU demonstration bus rack from Ladd. So we'll take a 2-mile ride and then we're going to practice putting our bikes on the practice bus rack inside the building. So that should be fun. But yeah, anything goes with Pedalpalooza. You can put any ride there. I hope too many people don't show up. So it'll be quick. And as I said earlier at the very beginning, it's going to be 100 degrees that day. So that will be a little challenging. Also talk about the statistics you're generating. You can see figures on the dashboard for the money you've saved and the CO2 you've saved and the number of miles you've traveled without the use of cars. Share those statistics with your team to encourage them to get out more and to keep logging their trips. And as I said before, our having access to that data is so useful for sharing in our advocacy work to argue for improving the safety on our streets for all of our users. And remind your team every single trip counts. Rides to work, rides to meetings, rides to the grocery store, and even those recreational rides are all options that they should be logging. And please do spread the word. Bringing newcomers into the challenge is always one of our goals. This year, that is even easier with our many modes. Your team might all be bike commuters. It's kind of hard to expand and add all these modes when so many people loved the bike commute challenge for years and years and years. And I want it to feel just like it's always felt for people who only want to log commutes and only want to bike. That's fine. But it's cool that we can have people logging walking trips only, or walking and skateboarding trips, and riding transit and plugging that in. So please do spread the word to your friends and coworkers who would have fun being on a team using these other modes. I would love to take some notes of things you've done to participate in the past and motivate your teams. Let me put up the thank you page, and then I'm going to stop screen sharing and hopefully collect some good ideas from you all.
So this year we had a Move More Challenge kickoff coffee hour. So we just had like an hour-long Zoom meeting where we had like a sustainable transportation trivia to kind of like engage people and get people talking. And then we made a list of a bunch of different fun questions related to transportation. And we had little breakout rooms so people could kind of get to know other people at the county, because a lot of our people are, if they started in the last year, they haven't met a lot of other people that bike or walk. And so it's been a nice way to engage new people to join the team. And actually I've been tracking our signups, and like about 60% of our team are new to the challenge this year. They didn't participate in the challenge in the last 3 years.
Cool. I have a suggestion too. Back a couple years ago, before I worked for WTA, when I was a team captain for the city of Beaverton, we had like this was an in-person thing, so I'm not sure how to do it not in person, but we had like a little what's in your backpack table, just like in the lobby of like, you know, kind of 3 different levels of like bike commuter, like the, you know, casual person versus like the person in the middle who's like kind of me, who's like working their way up to, you know, getting more like nicer gear. And then the person who's just like bikes everywhere and has like super nice gear. And so it's just like, you know, the spectrum of, you know, what you should and could carry in your backpack when you're trying to bike. So that was fun.
We did something similar to that a couple of years, especially like when the bicycle commute challenge became the bike more challenge. Any kind of bike ride would. We had in the lobby, we had folks bring in different kinds of bikes, and we had some information posted about each of them, like a road bike and like a hybrid bike for just getting around, you know, and a mountain bike and that sort of thing, with information about how, you know, how long would you usually ride this sort of thing, and where would you ride it, and that kind of thing. And that was kind of fun because lots of people got to see all sorts of stuff. We also had a couple of days where one of the folks at the office that uses an e-bike let people go on e-bike test rides, you know, and just around the parking lot there. And it was really fun because a lot of people who would never otherwise ride a bike thought, well, this is something I really could do, you know.
I haven't been a captain. Oh, sorry about that.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I haven't been a captain in the past, but I remember maybe a couple of years ago, one of the events that I participated in was, I think you had mentioned it. It's where you show newer bikers, you know, commute routes or other biking routes. And I had signed up to show people, and actually there's more people that showed up than I thought. I thought it would only be like 1 or 2 people, but I think 6 or 7 people showed up for that one. And you know, it was fun to, you know, teach them different routes and safety measures and things like that. So you know, already part of your list, but it was a fun one.
I've always tried to put some posters or information near food. So our cafeteria, we usually have a table with info about joining the team and what the challenge is all about. And then last year, we went around to all the break rooms as well. And that seemed to get more people signed up that don't always go down to the cafeteria. So we always talk about doing a noon ride or something like that. Everybody has breaks at different times, and work different days, so it's kind of hard to schedule. But I think this year we'll just pick a couple days and see what happens. If we can get people to ride locally around the area to a park and have lunch or something, I think I'd like to do that this year.
This all sounds great. I know we're coming up on 4 o'clock. I have a few slides just on WTA's additions to the program. And if like we said, if this is recorded, so if you have to go, no worries at all. You could just, we'll send out the recording and you can watch it later. But Maddie, if you're all set with yours, I can go ahead and share mine.
Yeah, please do.
I was just going to mention, I did look at the app on my phone. Well, not the app, the website on my phone, and I can see no return trip now. I did not see that. It was
It was hiding.
clearly there. So
Small.
yes.
Well, it is little.
Yeah.
I missed that enormous blue button. So
Yeah, right. And then I did notice in looking at online that it tells me the last time Strava synced, and that was on the 5th. So I am trying to reinstall Strava, but it does say, like, where you do click on connected apps, if you go down to Strava, it tells the last time it connected. So might be helpful.
yeah, mine is pinging in and out, and but I like knowing that mine is less connected than everyone else's, at least.
Okay, anybody have any other like questions before they have to skedaddle? Otherwise, I'll go ahead and share mine. It'll be nice and quick. Let's see, share screen. There. Okay. So, like I said, I work for the West Side Transportation Alliance, WTA. If you were captain last year, you'll probably recognize me because I was also working with us last year. So I just wanted to go over to some of the additions that we have to the challenge this year. Here we go. Oh. Okay. So first of all, if you haven't worked with WTA before, we are a membership-based transportation management organization, or TMA. It's a fancy way of saying we have member businesses who we help encourage employees to get to work by ways other than driving alone. So transit, biking, walking, teleworking, all that stuff is awesome to us. And we do that by offering incentives and information and kind of whatever our member businesses need. And our work is made possible with support from Metro, and also these extra prizes we have are also made possible with support from Metro and the Federal Transit Administration. And here's all our members. And if you're a member, well, you all are members. So thank you for being members. And you might see that, you know, we're all over the county. We have big organizations and small organizations, and, you know, nonprofits and government agencies and corporations. And so it's great to work with all these all over. Okay, so we have our WTA League for the Move More Challenge, what used to be the Bike More Challenge. And that is for anyone who is a member organization of WTA. And so in addition to all the stuff that Maddie talked about, we have our own trophies. Last year we divided it into 2 divisions based on team size. And so we have 2 trophies, so we'll see how that shakes out this year. Before that we had 1, but that goes to the winning team in our WTA League every year. And we also have some special perks. So we have more raffle prizes to give away. We have our post-challenge awards. And so as long as you register your team, I can go in and see that, you know, you're a member of WTA and you're a team. So I can just, I keep track of the WTA League. So you really don't have to do much in addition. Unless your team is named something that is not your company name, then just let me know and then I can find it. And like I said, we had some team awards. We also have individual awards. So we give away lots of stuff, and we like to show a lot of appreciation for people who are participating in the challenge. And this year we have, we decided to do, instead of like a kickoff, we did a kickoff week last year. And so we're doing a kickoff month this year because it's 3 months long. And as you can probably tell, June, we're still trying to, like, you know, figure stuff out. It's all new. It's a whole new platform. It's a whole new challenge. And so the first month is kind of our like kickoff month. So if you log at least 1 ride in June, then we'll have a raffle for that. And then through July and August, we have weekly raffles. And then at the very end, we'll have winners. And we'll also be doing some story and photo contests. And so after this training, I'll send out an email. Maybe me and Maddie can probably coordinate some info to send out with a recording and maybe some of those screenshots that will be helpful, and some stuff to help promote the Move More Challenge to your team. So keep an eye out for that. And that was it. So I know we're over time, but if you have any questions or, you know, other suggestions or comments, I'm happy to stick around for a little bit.
I don't have any new comments or questions, Caitlin, but I think that team list for Intel and then just instructions on how to get folks signed up, that would be awesome.
Yep.
I can get it going on my end.
Yep.
Thanks. I'm gonna drop. Thank you, folks.
Thanks for
Well,
coming.
thanks everybody for being here. Yeah, really appreciate it. I think it's going to be a great
All right.
challenge. I'm looking forward to figuring it out with everybody.
Yeah.
Have a great time, I think. And thanks, Maddie, for being here. That was
Thanks
really
for
helpful.
inviting me.
Thanks, Caitlin, Maddie. It's good info, and try and get people motivated.
Cool. Thanks,
All right.
everyone. Bye.
Thanks.